You would like to see LibreOffice on Android? Well, in terms of the things we're working on Android, one of our problems is getting LibreOffice small enough. You'll notice it's something like 270 meg uncompressed at the moment. The downloads are a bit big, so we're having trouble getting it in the App Store. But apart from that, we have something really quite compelling in terms of a viewer already. So there are several modes it can work in. Let me just show you. One is there's just a simple application viewer in the Android environment. So you wouldn't have a shell or anything. You'd hardly even know it was installed until you needed to view a document. We also have this little shell here. So if you want to see an ODF document, you can see the documents on your SD card and just browse through them. So yeah, there's ODF on Android working nicely. But of course, LibreOffice is really a Swiss Army knife of file format support. So say you want your crazy Visio file, you can. This is a particularly silly one that was created by someone. There you are, again rendering a Visio file nicely on Android. It's a prototype viewer. There are some things that are not working. We can render docx if you like that stuff. It's a traditional Microsoft document file. So here's a complicated fields application. Well, and that's pretty much it for the viewer. It's kind of simple. I think we had a spreadsheet here somewhere, random XLSX file. But of course, there are some built-in viewers for things like that. The main trouble at the moment is shrinking it down to make it fit the App Store. I think there's probably some tricks we could do there. But really, this is now a volunteer-run project, and we'd love help. If you have skills on Android, there are many fertile things you can be doing in the free software world on LibreOffice. We have, in fact, an Android viewer application now, so you can remote control your Impress presentation. So by Bluetooth, you have a remote control slide thing, which is kind of cool. And again, we need improvements there, worked on it. There's just loads of opportunities to do really exciting work in the Android space. So. Get stuck in, help us. I mean, we're porting to the iPhone too, so much of the Android works on the proprietary tablet space as well. So yeah, it would be just great to have help with that, and do get involved. We've done a lot of the heavy lifting. There's just the glory to be taken at the end. So as you saw maybe from the demo, that's a viewer, and so the UI load in a viewer is really tiny. It's like the web browser UI. There really isn't a whole lot that can go wrong there. Pinch to zoom, click forward, back, this kind of thing, flip pages. So that's clearly where we're focusing first, to get something out there and usable. Moving forward, if you see what Microsoft's doing on tablets and Surface, they're basically presenting the entire Office UI almost as is, and the ribbon is really helpful there. There's some choices we need to make, whether we do a similar thing. But clearly, touch enabling the UI is going to be an important part of that that's useful for everyone on every platform. And so much of what we do, the tablet thing, we would like to hope is very complementary to the other things. I mean, you see the Visio filter there working across all platforms, from cloud to your PC to your tablet and your phone. So we love that kind of complementary, sort of accretive work that just works everywhere. So yeah, so I don't know. Clearly, touch enablement is something key there that will be everywhere soon. So we need to get working on that. That's a good question too. So I mean, one thing is just to post to the mailing list, develop a mailing list, but we've tried to make it so there's no need to interact. You can go to the Easy Hacks page, and there are lists there of code pointers of things to fix. You can then go to Gerrit. And if you have an OpenID account, you can create a Git account, again, without asking anyone. You can push your first patches for review so that they can easily be merged. And so your first interaction can be, hey, look at my cool thing. Now, some people like to do that. Some people like to just show up and immediately provide something cool. And great, kudos to them. Other people like to interact more and get familiar. And we have an open list, no subscription required at free desktop. Just send a mail to developer list, ask questions. We'd love to help you there. We spend a lot of time mentoring people, and we love to include and get contributions from others. So let me give some highlights. One of them you mentioned is user interface. The old toolkit we have, VCL, has recently had a major facelift, and we now do UI layout. And so Quaylorn McNamara at Red Hat has done just some fantastic work there. And there's a lot of fertile work just moving from our old UI, which is sort of manually positioned, each widget nailed on the screen, to a new layout, dynamic layout UI framework, which improves the look, helps translation, and of course improves things for other platforms so we can fit in better. So, a great entry-level task requires relatively little skill, and you can move in slowly. So starting in Glade, redrawing user interface elements, and then moving up to hacking the code itself. So we find that LibreOffice is kind of a bit like it's kind of a bit addictive. You get stuck in and you pull the string, and bigger things come, and before you know it, you're part of the core team making cool features that everyone's loving. So yeah, it's a great project. Do get involved. We'd love to work with you. There are lots of good designs we have for improving the user interface, and people are more than welcome to get stuck in by working on those. We encourage that. As it is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to incrementally improve the UI we have. So often the kind of why don't we sit down and rewrite everything UI design is much harder to get people to work on than, well, why don't we improve everything, but let's do it a bit at a time and move it in the right direction to where we want to go. And so, I'd encourage people with big UI ideas to see if they can break those down into smaller ones and build momentum and interest and excitement by starting to move towards the promised land. Just seeing how much better it is with your new design, and just get involved in that process. It's really a really fun team there to work with. We try not to have too many don'ts. We want to encourage people and help them achieve great things. Having said that, it's clear that you can produce a user interface design that can't be implemented in thousands of hours of work. So, in order to just make that relationship between, developers and designers work well, we typically have volunteer developers who want to fix something but are unsure how to do the UI, would tend to ask a list, help me to make this nice bit, this piece of the UI better. And so the interaction often is a pull interaction, like, please help me with this thing. And so do just jump in with those discussions, get stuck into thinking about how to improve the UI there. And there are some quite knotty questions. When you get down to the detail of human interaction, there's a lot of thinking that's required. Just sheer time playing with it, doing competitive analysis and so on. That's really hard work. So if I could encourage you to do something as a UI designer, I'd encourage you to get stuck into the detail and obviously have a big picture vision. Good to discuss that. Good to have those directional things. But just get into those detailed pieces and contribute there, because there's a huge amount of need and value in that. So yeah, of course, you can do anything. But I'd love your work to be used and picked up quickly, and have a real impact on millions of users out there that use LibreOffice every day. And that's what we're trying to do. So, come and get involved. It's a great product, and there's a huge amount of work being done on it. I'll just do a quick demo and talk you through. So, and there's a crash, which shows you it's really a demo.